Grass-fed is all the rage. Let's see what that's all about here in my hometown, Atkins, Arkansas.
My name is Rachel Hoien. We are on Hoien Farms in Economy outside of Atkins, Arkansas, where we raise cattle.
We try to buy the best genetic bulls we can to raise fast-growing calves that we raise on grass.
When our customers buy meat from us, they're getting a truly grass-fed, grass-finished product.
So we try to actually graze the cattle as long as we can, let them harvest their own food, and just by rotational grazing and extending the grazing season into the fall and start as early as we can grazing in the spring.
I think it's been great to see customers outside of just our local area having access to grass-fed, truly grass-fed beef that's raised in the state of Arkansas.
All right, Matt, we're out here on this gorgeous piece of property. It is, it's really nice being out here. First time I've been on a four-wheeler in a while. That was fun coming in. So, how many acres are we on, and how many head of cattle y'all got running?
There's about 1,000 acres here, and about 750 of it is pasture land for cattle. And we have about 300 cows right here.
About 300, and then a lot of what you're running out here, I see, is mama cows.
Yeah, it's a cow-calf operation, so when we say cows, it's 300 mama cows, and then right now we got about 150 calves, and then here in the fall we'll start another batch of calves.
Awesome. And y'all implement a lot of the rotational grazing methods for regenerative farming.
Yes, started that, well, really when I started leasing the farm 11 years ago, and we were even doing that when I worked here. Let a field grow up, and then put the cows on it, and then move them to the next field, and move them to the next one. It's more efficient. You actually grow more grass that way, and it's better for the grass and for the soil.
Better for a lot. And a lot of attention to climate warming and different things, but with the research that I've seen is by farming that way, you're adding a lot of carbon to the ground, putting it back in versus letting it out. Is there a reason that y'all kind of went that route to begin with?
Well, for one thing, we want to get the best use out of the acreage that we can, and the other thing is it extends my grazing season. I can graze a little bit longer than if I just ran them, open the gates and let them go wherever, Yeah. So, and that is really one of the things I'm trying to do is graze cattle on the grass as long as I can. Year round would be great. I haven't got there yet, but I am doing some things to try to get more fall and early spring grazing so that I do not have to harvest and feed as much hay during the winter.
Yeah, reduces costs.
It reduces cost, reduces labor. It's a lot easier to let the cows harvest the grass than me harvest it and then turn around and put it right back out.
We've got a big emphasis on the health benefits of it, and the grass-fed is just showing out. It's just all the research seems to be saying that, hey, this is the route that we need to be going. We need to be eating this way, and that's really important. So I'm excited to be able to highlight y'all that are living it, living what we're needing to do, and we're excited to be partnered up with y'all.
Yeah, we're excited too.
All right, Matt. Love to see everything up a little bit closer. So want to see more of the farm, and kind of just need another reason to ride the four-wheeler some more.
All right, sounds good.
To me, the Arkansas River Valley is the source, the lifeblood of the state of Arkansas in regards to agriculture. And out here at my good friends, Tim and Robin Ralston's, at the rice farm, learning more about it, showing everybody where their food comes from.
I'm Tim Ralston. My wife Robin and I own and operate Ralston Family Farms with the help of all our family, kids. And we're located here in the Arkansas River Valley, very near Atkins. We grow cattle, soybeans, a little bit of corn for feed for the cattle, and most importantly, rice. We've got a rice operation that includes about 4,000 acres. We mill it, package it, and send it to the retailer. We've got 6 varieties made up of golden, it's a traditional long grain rice. We've also got basmati, white rice, jasmine. We've got red rice. We also grow purple rice. Our most unique and really one of our best sellers is Nature's Blend. First year we grew red and purple. We had a little bit of cross-pollination take place and a little bit of volunteer from a previous crop. And so when we harvested it, instead of just one or the other, we ended up with purple and red and brown rice all in the same offering. Well, farming is challenging, but it's very rewarding. Everybody likes to say it's a way of life, and that couldn't be more true, because to be successful farming, you've got to eat, sleep, and breathe it.
All right, Tim, so we are literally in the middle of your rice field down here in the Atkins Bottoms, my hometown.
Sure.
The Petit Jean Mountain is right there by the river. The scenery's gorgeous. Are you sure this is just a regular old farming operation?
Well, it's a pretty common farming operation, but we are in a special spot.
The way y'all farm in a sustainable manner, I thought was pretty cool. So at the market, we do a ton of like straw bales. So I called Robin a few years back and I said, hey, can we get some straw? And she said, we don't bale straw. So tell us a little bit about why do y'all not bale rice straw?
Well, a lot of the nutrients are held in that straw.
Okay.
What the rice itself, as you can see here, what the head doesn't utilize, is still in that straw.
Okay.
So if we return that to the soil, it's just like putting fertilizer back in it. You know,
So
it's an organic input.
Just goes right back into the ground instead of being taken away.
Absolutely. We irrigate 100% with surface water.
Surface water.
We get that from the Arkansas River. And we flood the fields. We utilize that water for about 3 to 4 months, recharging it as necessary. And then right at the end of the growing season, of course you dry the fields up to harvest them. So we're trying to time that to where the plant will utilize as much of that water as possible. But water is returned, goes right back to the Arkansas River. And when it goes back, it's often looks a lot better than it does when we pumped it on, because it's kind of filtered as it travels.
It gets cleaned
through
out
all
out
this.
here.
Yeah, it's, you know, this whole field is just one big filter, so when you pass that water through it, it does amazing things to it.
You've invested in your own rice mill. What does it mean to be milled? What does a mill do, like in simple terms?
Well, there's actually several steps in the milling process, but the main one is the husk that is on the outside of this grain.
Okay.
Is removed. And once you remove that husk, you've got brown rice in your hand. And so the difference between brown rice and white rice is there's a bran layer that's on the outside of the kernel.
Okay.
And that bran layer is removed. And once you remove that bran, which is very nutritious and it's a byproduct that we use for other things, but once you remove that bran, then you've got white rice.
Okay, so like with bran, it's a brown rice. Without bran, it's a white rice.
That's right.
And a lot of that bran goes to like feeds, like
It does. We're pretty well self-contained here on the farm. We've got a cattle operation. We've got about 175 mama cows, and we use that bran back on the farm.
That's even more of a more sustainable way.
Absolutely. There's absolutely none of the rice that goes to waste. The bran is taken off. We use it for cattle feed. The husk is taken off, and we market it locally to use as bedding in chicken houses.
In chicken houses.
Yeah. We take this all the way from the seed, and in a lot of cases we produce the seed.
Really?
But we take this all the way from seed to package to your shelf.
That's cool. Well, we put a lot of it on our shelves.
Yeah, we appreciate that. You know, we're about the only mill of our size that can actually take a package of rice and trace it all the way back to the field.
Yeah.
That's pretty well unheard of in the industry. It's certainly not a common practice by no means. In this particular field we're standing in, this is golden.
This is
rice.
the golden?
Yeah. And what we do with that rice is we remove about 50% of the bran layer.
Okay.
So you get the benefit of a short cooking time, but you still get the nutritional benefit of a brown. You get a little bit of that taste of a brown, a little bit of the nutty flavor.
Yeah.
And it's a big hit among kids. Kids love it and the parents like it because they're feeding them something good, but the kids like it so they don't argue about eating it.
Win-wins. We love
Exactly.
win-wins.
Exactly.
The living lettuce and basil and other wonderful greens that we've been getting at the market come from right down the road on 70 outside of Lone Oak at Miller Aquaponics. We're excited to learn a lot more about what goes on before it gets to the market.
My name's Stan Miller with Miller Aquaponics in Lone Oak, Arkansas. We're a family-owned business where we originally started out as a fish farm, and now we're kind of veering off into the aquaponics / hydroponics area. It's a fairly unique deal that we're probably one of the only fish farms right now that is running one of these type systems.
Seth, it's been really cool to see the family business and an industry that I really didn't know was that big of a deal. So fisheries in Arkansas.
That's right, aquaculture. One of the leading producers of bait fish in the nation, probably the leading producer of bait fish. We raise the fathead minnows. Mainly it's a forage-based fish. It feeds the bluegill mainly. They feed bluegill love fathead minnows. Bass will eat them too. Basically any fish that will eat another fish will eat a minnow.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the base for every pond that is out there. You really need that base, forage base. So yeah, it's a necessity if you look at it the way I'm looking at it, for sure.
And then y'all added a whole nother layer of the industry that's already here, and then with some innovation, started growing plants.
Growing plants.
Will you show me what's going on over there, how we connect that?
Let's do it.
All right, Seth, so this giant green egg thing is where all the magic happens. It connects what you have going on to growing food. What is this?
This is a polygeyser. This is basically a big bead filter that filters the fish solids from the water. It catches the solids with these beads.
Where does the water start and how does it get to here?
Water starts in the well. We pull the water out of the ground. It falls through a series of screens, basically oxidizing the iron that's in the water, solidifies it into iron oxide that is removed with the sand filter. And then we pump that water on our fish and we flush our fish with the well water. And normally it would just go right out into the ditch. But now we bring it into here, into our pit, and we collect the solids in this filter. It cleans the water and we send it back into our fish. So it's a recirculating system now instead of just a conventional fish farm flushing well water right down the ditch.
That conserves a lot of water.
Conserves a lot of water. And the well runs basically all the time whenever we have fish up. So now we're actually allowed to shut the well down and recirculate water that we already have up on the surface that's already been cleaned, and potentially saving money and water and growing plants as well.
So all of the fish waste, after it's been processed through what you're doing, ends up coming over here?
Right.
And so how do the plants utilize that?
Well, when it goes through our polygeyser, there's a heterotrophic bacteria in there that converts the nitrates to nitrites and ammonia, basically. And that is fertilizer. So we flush it through the system about every week. We're producing about 170 gallons, roughly.
The plants then, can I pull this up?
Sure.
Okay. So the plants take the waste,
Filter it through here. As it comes through the other end, it'll go into a pit tank down there, and it actually is crystal clear.
crystal clear. And then this gives us some good eating.
Good eating.
So at the market, we've been carrying a lot of the living lettuce because it seems to hold up a whole lot better. Keep those roots wet.
That's all you got to do.
And they stay alive.
Right.
So one of the benefits that in researching all this is you extend the season out significantly.
Oh yeah.
You can grow a whole lot more in a smaller area.
Yeah.
And
we can grow 3,000 heads of lettuce in this small 50 by 20 bed. And we have a 100 by 20 bed over there. So we can grow a lot of produce.
that's a lot of
It's a lot of produce.
Well, Stan, I've loved working with y'all. I appreciate the wonderful addition y'all have been to the market, and look forward to continue to grow.
Absolutely.
I'm Logan Duval, and another way to experience Arkansas agriculture is with the specialty crop, watermelons, here in Grady, Arkansas at the Carpenter family farm. We are going to see the entire process.
I'm Abraham Carpenter Jr. I'm the manager of Carpenter's Produce Farm, located in Grady, Arkansas, Lincoln County. My family and I grow over 1,500 acres of produce and ship it all over the nation. Some of our major clients are Walmart, Kroger's, Metropolitan Foods, but we ship it all over the nation. Watermelons, greens, you name it. We grow over probably 25, 30 different varieties of produce.
My name is Danny Carpenter. I'm with Carpenter's Produce. My special watermelons, we got the 720s. We have about 200 to 300 acres of watermelons, but we rotate them, keep them rotated. And guys, we have the best 720 watermelons in the state.
We got a good staff of H2A workers that we get in every year, in addition to the 35 family members, and they work just as diligently as we do.
When it's harvest time, that means it's work time. It's time to get it sun up to sundown. We get out there early in the morning at 6 o'clock, and we don't shut it down until around about 6 o'clock that afternoon. So harvest season is time to really get it. When you get it firsthand experience, my guys, when they see a watermelon, it's got a little curve on the end, that watermelon ready to go.
A lot of farmers are really becoming interested in specialty crops. Specialty crops, they have an increase in value compared to some row crops, and the farmers are seeing that, and we're seeing an increase in acreage, I believe, due to that.
We got several markets. We have two in Little Rock. We got one downtown next to the Clinton's Library, and we on Chico and Baseline Road. We have one in Pine Bluff, and we got a whole lot of local stores that we sell to. We enjoy serving our people. It doesn't make a difference what nation or color you are. We love everybody. Carpenters love everybody.
We take pride in digging in the dirt. We take pride in growing the watermelons, the cantaloupes. We take pride in cooking the food. When you grow it and cook it with love, that makes all the difference, brother.
I'm Logan Duval here at Thicket Farms, where we are going to experience Arkansas agriculture and see a pastured poultry operation.
I'm Jeanette Minton. You're at Thicket Farms in Sylvania, Arkansas. I like to drove my husband crazy for several years. I wanted a business out here. And a friend said, well, why don't you get some chickens? I would love to buy some free-range eggs. I'll pay you for them, and that'll help you pay for your feed, and we can both have good eggs. And then she came back and said, well, a friend wants some eggs. And so it just kind of mushroomed. And so 6 years later, here I am. The chickens are allowed to go anywhere they want to and eat all the bugs and all the grass they want to. They go up at night and we close the door so that nothing can get them. And then they're free to roam all they want to roam during the day. You need to take a pastured egg and a grocery store egg and crack them, and you'll see the difference. Farm fresh egg, the yolk is yellow, almost orange sometimes, they're so bright. The yolk stands up higher, and they're fresh. Often people are eating them the day they were laid, or at least the week they were laid. So they're fresh, so that makes a big difference too.
One of the cool things about eggs, especially when they're pasture raised, they're really high in omega-3. So you're gonna help decrease inflammation by eating eggs. And you'll notice a color change. When you crack open an egg that's been pasture raised, they're gonna have this deep, dark orangey color. And that's when you know you've really hit it really good with those omega-3s being in a pasture raised egg.
Farm fresh, homegrown eggs are a trend. They're very popular. Everybody's looking for that farm fresh egg. They're looking for those uniform eggs like this. And one thing that when you go out to a farmer's market and you're looking to purchase eggs, one thing that you want to look for is, are the eggs refrigerated? So they have to be refrigerated, they have to be cleaned. In the United States, we do clean the eggs, and once we do that, then they have to go in the refrigerator. Because what you're doing is you're washing off that natural cuticle that covers the egg. So therefore, to keep them fresh, we put them straight into a refrigerator. That has to be 45 degrees. As a consumer, that's what I'm looking for. Are the eggs consistent? Are they stored big end up? The air cell is in the big end, so we want the big end up in the carton. And then are they uniform, not cracked? And are they kept at the right temperature? So those are the things we're looking for when we go to buy eggs.
So before eggs ever get to a store or in that refrigerator, we gotta collect them first, don't we?
Have to.
All right.
Well, right now they're laying in the mornings, but we just come down here and start gathering.
Start gathering. Some big old beautiful brown eggs. They're not too mad about it.
No, they're used to me getting them from them.
All right, so they're the ISO brown is what you have.
ISO brown, And I have a few Rhode Island reds.
And they lay really well.
They do. They're very heavy layers.
That was pretty quick on getting 2 dozen eggs.
Well, they're not through.
They're not through. You normally come out here in the afternoons and get
about 4
get
o'clock every afternoon, and they're through by then.
And then what's the next step that you do with the eggs?
I wash them and put them in flats or in cartons. Some people buy them in flats, some people buy them in cartons.
One thing about it is I can definitely attest you have great eggs. And after being out here and seeing the girls run around, I know why. And thank you for all your hard work. I think farmers really are kind of those unsung heroes that contribute a lot to the community.
Well, thank you.
Hey everybody, it's Logan with Me and McGee Market here at a local legends place, Marvin The Fig Man. Checking out some of the crop. Big part of what we do at the market is working with local farmers and seeing how they do things and being able to support them and give them an outlet. So, we're here at a farm. Let's check it out. Hey guys, walking through the fig forest here at Marvin's. He has over a dozen different types. This one that we just picked is going to be a brown turkey. Coming around the corner, we're going to find another one and take a look at the inside of it. Here's Marvin, the working machine. Look at this. Look how beautiful that is. Fig, that is some good eating right there, guys. What I love about figs is they are high in mineral content, and the fresh figs aren't nearly as high in the carbs and sugars as like the dried ones. Great to keep the belly moving. Something that is a snack that Lander gets to eat is some of the fresh figs. Not a lot, but on occasion, lots of good things for it. We're going to interview Marvin here in just a little bit and learn a lot more about the figs that he's got on his property. We're right here, kind of in the middle of Little Rock on the river bottoms. It's a really neat place.
My name is Marvin Smith, and I've been raising figs for about 7 years. Yeah, I have about 13, 15 different varieties. They start coming off in July the 20th, somewhere in that neighborhood, give or take, and they'll go plumb into October on some varieties. See, I use this here gaff, fish gaff right here. Comes in handy for pulling the limbs down and moving the limbs around where you can find them. The brown turkey is probably the most favorite here in Arkansas. The weather don't seem to hurt it that much. You pick them when they're starting to get just a little bit soft, and by tomorrow, that fig right there will be real brown. See there, all the green ones there, and look how those two big ripe ones there. That's the way they do. That's where you got to search for them. There's one turning brown. By tomorrow, it'll be twice that color.
Being 50 years in the business, Marvin has learned a thing or two about figs. It's fun learning from him and hearing what he has to say. We're gonna get to picking because we're gonna have a lot of these dudes at the market. So holler at us if you need any figs. So we're gonna have them from Marvin the Fig Man.
Got Chicago, Celeste, which is purple varieties. I got Texas Blue, a Black Gold, Black Mission, Jeff's Brown Turkey, Mom's Hazel. I got a Big, Texas Everburn, Texas Blue, a Texas Brown Turkey, which is one I make preserves out of. It's a yellow fig.
Hi, I'm Beth Eggers, along with my husband Butch. We are at Y Mountain Flowers and Berries, which we began in 1998 and farmed until last fall in 2020.
When we first bought this place, all you could see here was just pasture land. There was nothing here except just grass and weeds.
We did sell out last year, and we've got a fabulous new couple, Cindra and Blaine, that are taking over the berry farm, and we just have fabulous customers who we know will support them too.
This is our first time buying a farm.
What they've built here is amazing.
We lived in the city and didn't even know our neighbors, and we moved out here and people have already greeted us and welcomed us and offered help.
Every day we find out something else that Butch has done or Beth has done just to bring this place along. We've in essence inherited that.
Things are constantly shifting in agriculture. You know, we're always figuring out new ways to grow things or new cultivars. The climate is changing, and so we're figuring out new ways to kind of deal with the new problems that pop up or new pests that emerge. And so we are kind of a resource to always provide kind of ongoing, continuous education to growers across the state. You know, it's kind of a balancing act because at the same time, it's a lot of work to do, and you can't do it all in a week.
It can be overwhelming at times. It's really just getting the first year behind us. Yeah. The University of Arkansas Extension Office is going to be a huge resource for us, coming out everything from soil samples to telling us the health of our plants, ultimately livestock if we have any of that out here. But we're looking forward to building that relationship over the years as well.
Some of the work that we're doing right now with strawberries and blackberries and blueberries is just trying to figure out how can we grow those fruit crops here in Arkansas so that we're getting high yields and good fruit quality to try and help our growers really access these local markets and provide a product that's really high quality.
Here with a fellow River Valley boy, Dr. Ron Rainey. So Ron, super excited about this partnership together. Tell me what the University of Arkansas Division of Agriculture is really promoting.
No, honestly, we're promoting the Arkansas agriculture experience. The University of Arkansas Division of Agriculture, across many, many disciplines of science, nutrition works, but on the science side, we help our farmers produce these fantastic crops. And we help them produce in a way that they can provide economically for their families. So we just want to promote, just look at this setting, look at these beautiful flowers that are going to be berries pretty soon, to get more consumers to be aware, more Arkansans to come out and support their fellow Arkansans, to experience this rural setting, but to experience this fantastic flavor profile of biting into a vine-ripened blackberry, or whatever the fruit may be.
Whatever it is, they can come either to the farm, to the farmer's market, just bringing everybody together.
Absolutely, just wanting to promote that experience and to promote the opportunity for us to support each other. It's been some trying years, so hopefully one of the silver linings that I think we realized the real humanity of that human touch and engagement. And so let's just engage with each other and support each other in some more innovative ways.
I love it. Excited to be working with you, brother.
Hey, excited for this, thanks.
Hey guys, out here in Fox, Arkansas, very secluded area, just north of Clinton at a buffalo ranch. Here with my good buddy, Rod Cialdini, getting the tour, getting the experience. This is about as close up to a buffalo as I think you should ever get. The babies are a few months old.
They're all born in June.
All born in June. We've got the big bull. He was standing behind me. He's moved somewhere, but oh, he's over here. We'll get a good picture of him. But I can't stress enough how calming it is out here, just peaceful and neat. So hope y'all enjoy this.
This is a farm we purchased in 2003. It had been deserted for 35 years. It dates back to the 1840s. So we recovered the land over a period of the last 15 years. We have roughly 200 acres here. At present, we have 42 adults and 14 babies. Bison are not buffalo. Well, first of all, the term buffalo came from the European explorers, actually the French, from the word buffo. The difference is the same thing, the difference between a dog and a bear, or a dog and a raccoon. They're all in the same family. So they're in the Bovidae family, but they're not, otherwise they're not related. And it's not, again, the cross is not natural. We have two bulls. One comes from the 747 bloodline. That's a bull out of Kansas. I believe the last time he was weighed, he weighed 3,830 pounds. Our other bull, he's out of Mr. Big, out of Canada, and he's actually of Yellowstone stock. Okay. He originally came, his grandfather was from Yellowstone. That's actually very rare. There's of the 18 federal herds, only 3 have pure bison. The problem goes back to the early 1900s, which is what we call the original foundation herds. Those people who saved the bison and they experimented with bison crosses with cattle. And some of those animals got integrated. And so the way we assembled this herd was on a very strict test cull method. Is we'd buy animals, we genetically test them, we test them for their mitochondria. I don't want to go into the genetics of it, but that's very important. They're very prominent in bison because when you do the cross, for 3 generations, you only have females born. Really? And the mitochondria is transmitted through the mother, so that's very common. So we treat them for that, and then we check them for 25 nuclear markers. And if they have even 1 marker, we get rid of the animals. Okay. And so all of these animals have been tested for, make sure they have bison-type mitochondria and are absent of all 25 nuclear cattle markers, which is very rare. I only know of 1 other herd in Canada that will guarantee their animals be pure. Well, you notice there's all sorts of difference in tag colors, and each of the tags have a meaning. Those that have purple tags mean they're temporary residents, and you can interpret that in any way you want. But they'll either be sold for meat or sold for breeding stock, but they will not, by the time they're 2, they'll be out of here. We primarily want to sell breeding animals. Like I said, we are one of the few rare purebred herds, so breeding stock is our primary goal. We do sell meat. Usually for our bulls, we'll take the best ones and save them for breeding stock, and those that do not meet our standards, we'll say in confirmation, we'll process them for meat or sell them for meat. So in addition to be animal welfare approved, we're also certified grass-fed by A Greener World, and you can always go on their website, agreenerworld.com, and see what standards we have to abide by. But our animals, or any meat animal, has never even seen a grain or any sort of grain byproduct. And that includes their mother. This is how strict we are. If we were to give grain to a nursing mother, her calf cannot be considered grass-fed. So we don't keep any grain around. They've never seen grain. They don't even know what grain is. You know, their big treat might be alfalfa cubes, which bores them pretty quickly. And I think that makes a big difference in the quality of the meat. We have a lot of customers coming up from Little Rock who cannot eat red meat, but they can eat our meat. We have people who cannot eat bison, but they can eat our meat. And I think it has to do with being really grass-fed.
Lake in the Willows is a partner that's pretty dear to our hearts. They've been with us very early on. Mom came across them at the first Arkansas Made event at War Memorial, and she waited in line to get up there to meet them. Their booth was crazy, and we understand why now. Top of the line when it comes to honey and everything that they do. Love them. We're gonna go take a look at where all of these amazing products start.
My name is Desmond Simmons, and me and my wife own Lake in the Willows Apiary out here in beautiful Scott, Arkansas. This is one of our bee yards. This is our home bee yard up here. We have about 45 hives at this location, and we have around 155 hives across this central Arkansas area. We make several different products from the hives. We of course do honey. We make a creamed honey. We use beeswax from the hives to do candles, lip balms, lotion bars. And we also collect pollen, which is something fairly new for us. And so we let nothing go to waste out of the hives. We raise our own queens. We build a lot of our own equipment here, and we just love the bees. Big portion of our profits go to feeding the hungry. We donate to food banks, local food banks. In the last couple of years, we started doing a backpack ministry for local schools. So everything goes back into the community that we take from there and stuff, except what we put back in it to continue to grow. You know, there's a lot of packaging companies across the country that will package honey, but you don't know what part of this country or other countries that it even comes from. And the other thing you have to be leery of is there's some places that will actually cut the honey. They will cut it with corn syrup, rice syrup. Some countries are really famous for that, make it go farther. And when you buy local honey, number one, you're supporting local economy. Number two, it helps with the allergies because of the local pollens and that type of stuff in there.
All right, we are about 5 miles away from the market at our good friends Desmond and Joyce Simmons' Lake of the Willows. We've been working with them for at least 5 years, I believe, and we've had a really good partnership, grown a lot together over the years, and really proud of what they've accomplished. All right, Desmond, so the hive. Can you kind of go through what we're looking at as we're digging into this thing?
I surely can.
Okay.
This is a typical Langstroth beehive. This one actually has a pollen trap on the bottom, which is not typical for most of our hives. And then we have 2 brood boxes. That's usually where we try to keep the queen down into laying the eggs, raising the young bees. And then we'll put a queen excluder, that's just a little shim right here, so she can't get back up in there and lay eggs where we're collecting the honey at.
And a queen excluder is just kind of like a grate, a
It's
metal
a
grate.
metal grate that she can't fit through, but the worker bees can come back and forth in and stuff like that. And then that way the bees will concentrate on putting honey in the honeycomb in the upper frames like that. And honeycomb's made out of beeswax, basically on a plastic sheet that we put in there in a wooden frame, and I'll show you one of those in a minute.
Okay.
Now when the honey gets ready, now we'll put a little bit of smoke in them.
I love
just
smoke.
kind of calm them down a little bit. And what the smoke does is diffuses their alarm pheromones.
Okay.
And they also, the other theory is that they think everything's on fire and then they'll gorge themselves on honey, which is a wonderful thing to gorge yourself on. But when you're gorged on honey so much, the bees can't bend, they can't bend over, and they can't sting you as easy. They have to be able to do the bending motion to
So
sting
if they're
you.
full, it's harder to sting.
That's correct, and they're
Oh, I like
concentrating on that. So we'll just take this top cover off. Now this hive, the honey in here is a little bit older. We'll put a little bit of smoke on here, and I've kind of got the bees drove down a little bit. And then we usually typically put 9 frames in here so we can get fatter honeycomb out of it.
Oh, okay.
And then we'll break it loose. And there's your frame of honey.
Look at that.
That's a little bit older honey.
But that is surprisingly heavy.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. A typical hive like that, one of these boxes, this is what we call a shallow box, can be 45-ish pounds. And we'll go out and typically I can put about 20-25 of them on my truck at a time.
Okay.
So it's a load when I do it and stuff like that. So. But
Well, this is really cool. So it's a lot darker than I thought it was.
Well,
gonna
this
be
one
too.
is a little bit older frame. This honey's just going to be a little darker as it is.
Oh wow!
And then you can always try it.
Well, I mean, I'm going to have to definitely try that. Probably a little difficult in the bee suit at the moment,
well,
but I'm going to try it.
But then that's it. We'll take that. This is what they call wax coated. It's got a covering on it. We'll cut that wax off of it. We'll stick it upside down like this or on its end, and we'll spin it in an extractor, and the honey flies out of it, drains down to a tank, and there we go.
Okay.
And that's pretty
So
much.
is this where you get the honeycomb?
Now the honeycomb, we have a different frame. This one actually has a sheet inside of its plastic. Now the honeycomb frames, we usually just have a plastic sheet in there. The bees will build out the beeswax from that.
Okay.
And then they'll put the honey in it, and we'll harvest it from there.
Okay.
So that's pretty much all there is to it. This
So
has
it
got
starts
warp
out
because
like
of
this,
Yep.
and it just looks pretty basic, very straightforward, and then they add all of that onto it.
Beeswax is a natural product that bees make. They secrete it from their bellies. They have wax glands. They secrete the wax, then they build the little honeycomb shapes from there and stuff like that. So here's a frame of honeycomb, Logan. It's nothing but pure honey and beeswax inside of it. And we're going to cut a couple of little squares out for your chef to make some food out of. And also, we cut it in little chunks and put in jars for you guys up at your market.
We love the honeycomb.
So, the honeycomb takes a while to make for the bees because they've got to create everything from scratch. So it takes them a while to draw it out and make it. That's why we don't always have honeycomb till later in the year.
I understand.
Stuff,
Well, people absolutely love it, and they chew on it, and just it makes a nice little garnish.
It
So we'll
does.
see what Cappy does with it.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how that's going to turn out.
All right.
So we're going to take this, we're going to cut this chunk of honeycomb out of here. And we'll just take a knife and we'll just cut a piece of it out of there. And there's your chunk of honeycomb. Now for the chef, we're going to cut it, just a chunk of it out, about like this today. And then you can grab that box there for me, Logan, and hold it up over here.
Because that honey drips everywhere, doesn't it?
And once it gets somewhere, it's there forever.
Perfect. Look
There you
at
go.
that. I think she's gonna like it.
All right. And the rest of this, like I said, we'll cut in little strips and we'll backfill these jars. And then we'll, the strips are just cut about 1 inch thick. And I didn't grab any jars ahead of time. We'll stick it down in the jar and we'll backfill it full of honey, and that's all it's done.
And that's
there you
it.
go. That's it.
It's
That's all
that
there is to it.
simple.
So
it's a big deal for the bees, though.
it is a big bit. It's a lot of work for them. They say it takes about 8 pounds of honey energy or honey to create a pound of beeswax. So those frames you seen earlier were a little bit darker color. That's because we've harvested honey out of it, but left the beeswax, stuck it back in the hive, and the bees can refill it so they don't have to spend all that extra honey on it.
Making the comb.
So
Makes
it's
sense.
making the comb, and that comb out there may get used 2 or 3 times in a year sometimes. And then we'll save it, we'll store it over winter, and after a couple, 3 years, we have to clean it off and start over and stuff like that, because the comb gets dirty,
Yeah.
dirty looking. It's not really dirty. Bees are very hygienic. They're very clean about everything in their hives.
Love it. Desmond, thank you so much for showing us around and teaching us about the bees. This is going to be a great gift, and I think it's going to make a really neat video too.
Yes.
So I really appreciate the honeycomb. Guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of our community, and hope you learned and enjoyed. All right, here we are at Rattle's garden, one of our favorite farms. We've got cosmos and zinnias in this pollinator field, and it's just part of the whole ecosystem here. And let's go find Tara to learn a lot more about it.
My name is Tara Stainton, and my farm's name is Rattle's Garden. We are one of the only certified organic farms in central Arkansas, and we grow cut flowers and specialty vegetables. You know, for us, the big difference is that we don't use a whole lot of chemical control for fungus or for pests. So no insecticides and no fungicides, very little disease control. And so we probably lose more than most other farms, but it's a way that we feel is really safe to grow for our family and for our community.
So we are out here at your pollinator field, and this is something that I saw on Facebook that you put a picture, and I said, we've got to get out there and see this for ourselves. It's hard to probably see from the camera, but the flowers are absolutely moving everywhere, from butterflies and bees and stuff. What makes you plant this field?
It's fantastic, isn't it?
It is fantastic.
I mean, that's why I plant it, because it's fantastic. But when we started planting it, I did it because I wanted pictures. I love flowers. We sell flowers at market, and I wanted pictures. But what we started noticing just a couple years in was how attracted our pollinators were to this whole field. And what we noticed 2 years ago is we really started gaining a lot of monarchs as they migrate in the fall, and we'd see them coming just over the sky, way up high, and our field would just be covered up in monarchs. We always like hummingbirds, butterflies, anything like that. So I thought, you know, if we do this and we do this in the fall and we pick a field that we're already not doing something else in, you know, then it gives us some benefit and we're helping out things that we really like.
So in farming practices, what you're talking about letting it go, that's letting it go fallow, giving the ground a break, a rest for a season or a time period to just kind of recover from taking things out of it, right?
Definitely, definitely. And like for us in our organic certification, we follow a really strict 3-year crop rotation. And so we're trying not to put the same family of vegetables in a field for more than every 3 years at a time, every 3rd or 4th year. And so I always try to pick a field where I don't have a vegetable I can really put in it in the fall, and we're not doing anything else in it, but we really want to use it because it's good ground and it's pretty and we can do it, and
Well, it is pretty.
And so we do it.
Gorgeous.
And to be honest, like, it doesn't take this long. This is not a lot of work, you know? I mean, we pick at a good time. It's like 2 hours worth of tractor work. It's $100 worth of seeds, and I get this. And then that's all I do. I don't water. I don't do anything else.
And it's great for pollinators. What all pollinator species have you seen out here?
Oh, tons of butterflies. Lots of bees and wasps. You know, we keep bees on the farm. I'm not a beekeeper, but I have a beekeeper. And so we know that we're providing for the bees that are on our farm, but we also have so many different types of wasp species and other types of pollinators. This has been something that has been a great learning experience too for my kids, because I think some kids can naturally, you know, wasps and bees, they buzz, and it's natural for us to try to get away from them, right? And kids are no different. So my kids used to be really afraid of wasps, and I'm like, stand right here. You can stand right here in the middle of them, and they're just working around you. And so my 10-year-old, he likes it. He'll pick a bee and he'll try to follow it. You know, he wants to see where it's going and what it's doing.
What a learning experience.
Right?
I've got my kids out here right now, and they're just walking around the farm. It's just so good for the soul, just to be outside with nature. Thank you, Tara, so much for letting us come out. We've got to see this beautiful field. We've got an apiary we're going to here soon and learn more about honey, and so this is a perfect, you know, segue into that. Tell us a little bit about the other products that you've got in that farm share.
For our farm share, we grow anything that you can grow in an Arkansas garden throughout the year. I think I've told you all before, we don't grow melons, and we don't grow sweet corn because they're really hard to grow organically, but we grow lots of tomatoes, cucumbers, squash, okra, green beans, anything you can grow in an Arkansas garden. And so we are at a point in our season right now where we're just pulling out all of our summer stuff. We're replanting for the fall, and we start back up again pretty hard in the middle of September is when we start harvesting.
And in the background, we can hear the chickens. So y'all do eggs.
We do eggs. Yep. We have about 150 laying hens at a given time, and so we produce colored eggs, colorful eggs.
Colorful eggs.
Yes.
So brown, green, white, yellow,
Yes.
all of them.
Fully free range. Y'all can
Love
see
it.
them, and they are fantastic.
Well, again, Tara, thank you.
You're
Thank you for letting us come out and letting my kids run around on a farm.
I'm so glad they did.
Warms the heart.
Yep.
Check out this pumpkin, the grizzly bear. On this episode of Experience Arkansas Agriculture, we're gonna head down to the Holmans and see and learn a lot more about the process.
My name is Merritt Holman, and I'm a pumpkin farmer in England, Arkansas. I've been growing pumpkins about 15 years. I remember all those really hot June days when my farm hands were my family, when they got old enough, the kids, to help us. My daughter and son, they were out here a lot of weekends during the summer. And also the guys that we work with from Mexico with the H2A program, they become like family. And so seeing them the first week every year, it's always kind of a big reunion, and we have a big party at the end of the year at my house with all the guys, and it just has a family feel to it.
Shannon, there's a lot of work that goes into the pumpkins. Getting to see the whole process out here.
It's a big process.
We got a lot of help we need to get these dudes to places.
We have the best help there ever was. These guys have been with us for like 10 years, and they are so good at what they do. They've got it
down. They've got it down.
Yeah. We started it when our kids were small, and we actually started doing this to kind of save money for their college. But the kids would get to come out and play, but we would bring them and they'd have their birthday parties out there. Kids run around and tell them you could have what you can get back to the trailer, and we'd turn around and there's a little girl about this big trying to roll a big new moon, roll it to the trailer with all her might so she could take a pumpkin home. So all those memories are really fun and really special.
Memories.
I think that's what's special about pumpkins is, you know, they're great to take pictures with. People love them, kids love them. Any age loves a pumpkin.
It's fall. It's a perfect fall kickoff.
Yeah, it's just the kickoff of the fall, and it's a wonderful time of the year.
So Shannon, how many varieties of pumpkins are y'all growing?
We have about 25 to 30 different varieties. The Cinderella is always a favorite, and then we have a lot of smaller ones, and we're trying a few new ones every year.
Always trying a few new
Oh,
ones.
yeah.
So everything from the big old giant ones to some little bitty decorative like gourds and stuff.
My favorite this year is the grizzly bear. It's the new one. Has little brown warts on it. I like it.
It is neat. It's a beautiful pumpkin. This is definitely one of my favorites. Brings back so many memories. Where do the pumpkins you grow end up? How can somebody experience them?
Best way to experience them is to visit some of the local pumpkin patches around the central Arkansas. We help supplement some of those pumpkin patches, so a lot of them will be growing as well. And you can get them at markets like Mia McGee and other markets around, and most of the nurseries in central Arkansas.
Well, y'all have done such a wonderful job in doing this a long time. And you know, something that I know y'all don't grow them for food, but a lot of people eat these bad boys, and I'm excited to see some really special recipes coming up.
Oh yeah, I love pumpkin.
Look, well, let's settle the great debate right here. As a pumpkin farmer, pumpkin spice, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. All right, there we have it. It's settled.
Yes,
Thank you so
absolutely.
much.
You bet.
Pecans are big business in Arkansas. I'm here at Blackwell, home of Paw Paw's Pecans and Charlotte Teresa Plantation. Gonna visit with Billy, who started this about 15 years ago, and learn a whole lot more. All right, Billy, so you've been able to start a pecan farm, but then have a lot of amazing things coming from it. So what got you into pecans? Why did you take on this endeavor?
Well, I had been in a plane crash, and I was down from some burns that I'd had, and one of my boys come along and that told me we're gonna go pick up pecans today, and I thought, you know what, I don't think so, and then he talked me into it, and once I did, I liked it. Got out here and harvested a time or two with some neighbors, and I was pretty much hooked.
You had that pecan bug.
That's right.
So how many acres and how many trees?
There's 27 trees per acre, and there's a little over 200 acres, so there's right close to 6,000 trees.
That's a lot of trees.
Ranging anywhere from 16 years old down to 5. There's 12 different varieties, and the reason they're offset like that is because younger trees require a lot more maintenance, and by the time I could get comfortable enough to take care of them from the tractor, I got the itch to plant a few more.
What y'all have done with the bread and breakfast and Airbnb type styles is really neat too. So people get to come into your home.
That's right. We always tell them, you know, this is your room, this is your space up here, but they end up downstairs visiting with us. Sometimes to the wee hours of the morning. Sometimes they'll be back in a month or two and we'll see them again.
All right, Billy, thank you for showing me the trees. Let's go look at that house.
All right, let's go.
My name is Jackie Lee, and I am the State Extension Specialist for pecans for University of Arkansas Extension Service. Arkansas really has a legacy with pecan production. We are in the top 20 for production, and right now we are ranked number 14. So pecan trees, they begin producing when they're about 3 to 4 years old. They are not in peak production until they're about age 25. And I have seen pecan trees 150 years old. And you have to realize it's a long-term investment, not just with your money, but also with the care that these trees take.
The debate is it pecan or is it pecan? Pecan comes from an Alcoan Indian word that is spelled P-A-H-K-A-N, pecan, and it translates loosely to a nut that requires a rock to crack. So that cool. Settles the debate.
In my mind, it's settled.
It's pecan.
And the mountains. I think coming out here on the porch is so peaceful. I can see why people enjoy visiting. As a host, what's your favorite part of it?
Sharing. I like sharing what we've done here. I like sharing my passion for agriculture in general. You know, I've been in the chicken business, been in the cattle business, but this pecan business, everybody loves pecans. You just can't hardly go wrong with pecans, and you become a pretty popular person when you've got pecans.
There you go, there you go. There's so much that y'all have to be proud of, and love looking at all the different rooms and the different products, and from the oils and the fudge and the just the experience and the passion and love that y'all have. So thank you for being an amazing part of our community, and you definitely make me proud from being from the area.
Glad to share it with you.